हेलो वेलकम बैक ऑल ऑफ यू इन माय यूट्यूब चैनल इंग्लिश क्लब विद डॉक्टर पुनीत दुबे। आज की यह वीडियो कुछ ज़्यादा बड़ी होने वाली है क्योंकि यह वीडियो R.W.Emerson के लाइफ एंड वर्क और उनके एक लोकप्रिय एसे सेल्फ रिलायंस के इम्पोर्टेंट फैक्ट्स और पॉइंट्स विद एनालिसिस से बनी हुई है। बने रहिए मेरे साथ पॉइंट टू पॉइंट। रैल्फ वाल्डो एमर्सन 1803, डेट ऑफ बर्थ एंड डेट ऑफ डेथ 1882 in Massachusetts, was American atheist, lecturer, philosopher, abolitionist and a poet. Abolitionist means होता है दासता विरोधी. He led the transcendentalist movement and of mid 19th century and champion of individualism and critical thinking. Frederick Nietzsche considered him. Frederick Nietzsche ने बोला था उनके लिए कि the most gifted of the Americans and Walt Whitman referred to him as his master. Next point, Emerson moved the religious and social beliefs of his contemporaries, formulating and expressing the philosophy of transcendentalism in his essay 1836 ऐसे नेचर 1836 में उन्होंने नेचर नाम से जो ऐसे लिखा था उसमें फिलोसफी ऑफ ट्रांसडेंटलिज्म लिखी थी। नेक्स्ट, हिज स्पीच द अमेरिकन स्कॉलर, इनका एक ऐसे था द अमेरिकन स्कॉलर 1836 विच ओलिवर वेंडल होल्म्स सर सीनियर नाम से कंसिडर्ड टू बी अमेरिकाज इंटेलेक्चुअल डिक्लेरेशन ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस। Emerson's nature was more philosophical. The naturalist philosophically considered the universal is composed of nature and the soul. Next point, Emerson is one of several figures who took a more pantheist approach by rejecting views of God. Next point, he remains among the linchpins of the American Romantic movement. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, ही रोड इन ऑल माई लेक्चर्स, क्या लिखते हैं कि इन ऑल माई लेक्चर्स आई हैव टॉट वन डॉक्ट्राइन नेमली द इनफाइनेट्यूड ऑफ द प्राइवेट मैन. इट इज़ कोट ऑफ इमर्सन. तो इमर्सन ने लिखा था कि in all my lectures I have taught one doctrine, namely the infinitude of the private man. Emerson is also well known as mentor and friend of Henry David Thoreau, a follower transcendentalist. The pronunciation Thoreau and Thoreau. His main interest individualism, nature, divinity, cultural criticism. इनके कुछ नोटेबल फ्रेजेस हैं. सेल्फ रिलायंस इज अ वर्ड नोटेबल फ्रेज. ट्रांसपेरेंट आईवॉल, कॉन्शियसनेस, स्ट्रीम ऑफ थॉट, विल्ड वेटर, माउस ट्रैप, द वर्ल्ड विल बीट अ पाथ टू योर डोर. ये फ्रेजेस हैं, कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रेजेस हैं इमर्सन के. ही वॉज पार्टली इन्फ्लुएंस्ड बाय जर्मन फिलॉसफी एंड बाइब्लिकल क्रिटिसिज्म. He had a number of romantic interests in various women throughout his life, such as Anna Barker and Cordeline Sturgis. He wrote erotic poetry about fellow classmates named Martin Gay. Martin Gay के लिए इन्होंने कुछ erotic poetry लिखी. Next point, the transcendentalist movement flourished in New England and proposed a revolutionarily new philosophy of life. This new philosophy drew upon old ideas of Romanticism, Unitarianism, and German idealism, as well as the American Republican tradition. ये पॉइंट्स नोट कर लेना, ये इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स थे. नेक्स्ट आते हैं हिज पॉपुलर एसे सेल्फ रिलायंस. The essay Self-Reliance was published first in 1841 and then in the 1847 revised edition of Essays. कई बार ये क्वेश्चन पूछा गया कब लिखा गया, पब्लिश हुआ, तो 1841, लेकिन इसका रिवाइज्ड पब्लिकेशन हुआ, रिवाइज्ड एडिशन हुआ 1847. It took shape over a long period of time and is one of the most famous essays. Next, Emerson helped start the beginning of the transcendentalist movement in America. Emerson wrote on individualism, personal responsibility, and non-conformity. Next, throughout his life, Emerson kept detailed journals of his thoughts and actions, and he returned to them as a source for many of his essays. Emerson drew on various lectures, and he delivered between 1836 and 1839. Next point. The first edition of the essay bore three epigraphs. Three epigraphs are here. First, a Latin line translated, "Do not seek outside yourself." First epigraph. And the second epigraph, a 6-line stanza from Beaumont and Fletcher's Honest Man Fortune. Next epigraph, and a 4-line stanza that Emerson himself wrote. These are the three epigraphs in his essay Self-Reliance. Next point. The essay has 3 major divisions. याद रखना, major divisions, यहाँ पर epigraphs थे, यहाँ divisions हैं. Self-Reliance में 3 divisions हैं. First division है, first, the importance of self-reliance. The importance of self-reliance, paragraphs 1 to 17. Next division, self-reliance and the individual, paragraph 18 to 32. And the third division, self-reliance and society, paragraphs 33 to 50. As a whole, it promotes self-reliance as an ideal, even a virtue, and contrasts it with various modes of dependence or conformity. So here the 3 paragraphs, one by one, point by point. Paragraph first 1 to 17 paragraphs, named The Independence of Self-Reliance. First point, Emerson begins his major work on individualism by asserting the importance of thinking for oneself rather than meekly accepting other people's ideas. Next point, as in almost all of his work, he promotes individual experience over the knowledge gained from books. He writes, to believe that what is true in your private heart is true for all men. That is a genius. Third, the person who scorns personal intuition and instead chooses to rely on others' opinion lacks the creative power necessary for robust, bold individualism. Next, in the first paragraph or the first division, this absence of conviction results not in different ideas as this person expects. Paragraphs 18 to 32, self-reliance and the individual. Point number first. The second section of self-reliance offers more suggestions for the individual who wants to achieve the desirable quality of self-reliance. Emerson begins with a directive. Next point. Let a man then know his worth and keep things under his feet. Next point, in the second division, material objects, especially those that are imposing. Emerson cites magnificent buildings and heroic works of art, including costly books, often intimidate people by making them feel of lesser worth. Next, third division, the paragraphs 33 to 50, self-reliance and society. Point number first. In the final and third of self-reliance, Emerson considers the benefits of society of the kind of self-reliance. His examination of society demonstrates the need for a morality of self-reliance, and he again criticizes his contemporary Americans for being followers rather than original thinkers. Next point. He levels his complaint especially at urban educated youths unfavorably, comparing them with a hypothetical farm lad who engages himself in many occupations largely self-taught and entrepreneurial. Next point. The comparison between the city youths and the country fellow, means गांव का जो व्यक्ति होता है, is to be expected given the quality of life Emerson traditionally assigns to each environment. यहाँ पर 3 डिवीजन हो गए इनके ऐसे के. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट चलते हैं. Emerson presented a series of lectures on the philosophy of history at Boston's Masonic Temple. Next point, these lectures were never published separately, but many of his thoughts in these were later used in Self-Reliance and several other essays. Later lectures such as The American Scholar and the Divinity School Address by Emerson led to public censor of his radical views. The staunch defense of individualism in self-reliance being a possible reaction to that censor. He encouraged religious individuals to breathe new life into the old form of their religion. Emerson clarifies, nothing can bring you peace but yourself. Next point, Emerson clarifies, nothing can bring you peace but yourself. ये पूछा जा सकता है, nothing can bring you peace but the triumph of principles. Next point, Emerson emphasizes that envy is ignorance. Imitation is suicide. Envy is ignorance, imitation is suicide. Near the end, he encourages society, insist on yourself and never imitate. Herman Melville, 1851, Herman Melville novel Moby Dick has been read as a critic of Emerson's philosophy of self-reliance embodied, particularly in the life and death of Ahab. This essay is an analysis into the nature of the aboriginal self on which a universal reliance may be grounded. Some are the key facts or key points in self-reliance essay. First, trust thyself. Emerson believes that individuals should trust their own judgment and intuition rather than relying on external validation or the opinions of others. Next, non-conformity. The essay champions the idea that individuals should resist the pressure to conform to social expectations and instead follow their own unique paths. Next key point, individuality. Emerson emphasizes the importance of embracing one's unique identity and expressing oneself authentically rather than trying to fit in with the crowd. Next, self-reliance as a moral duty. Emerson argues that self-reliance is not just a personal preference, but a moral obligation to live a meaningful and authentic life. Next key point, the power of intuition. Emerson suggests that individuals should trust their inner voice and intuition, as it can lead to a deeper understanding of oneself and the world. Next, embrace originality. The essay encourages readers to pursue their own unique goals and aspirations rather than simply mimicking the accomplishment of others. Next key point, rejection of conformity. Emerson critiques societal pressures that stifle individuality and encourages readers to resist the temptation to conform to established norms. Next key point, importance of personal growth. Emerson believes that self-reliance is essential for personal growth and development, allowing individuals to achieve their full potential. Next key point, value of originality. Emerson emphasizes the importance of originality and creativity, urging individuals to pursue their own unique visions rather than simply copying the work of others, living authentically. The essay encourages readers to live in accordance with their own values and beliefs rather than conforming to societal expectations or the opinion to others. Next key point, living authentically. The essay encourages readers to live in accordance with their own values and beliefs rather than conforming to societal expectations or the opinions of others. Some notable quotations from self-reliance, कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट है जो याद करने के लिए हैं और बहुत ही ज़्यादा पूछे भी जाते हैं इनके ऐसे में. सेल्फ रिलायंस ऐसे में नंबर फर्स्ट, ट्रस्ट दाई सेल्फ, every heart vibrates to that iron string. Next quotation, who so would be a man must be a non-conformist. Next, what I must do is all that concern me, not what the people think. Next, a foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds, adored by little statesmen and philosophers and divines. With consistency, a great soul has simply nothing to do. Next quote, traveling is a fool's paradise. Next, insist on yourself, never imitate. Next, society never advances. Society never advances. It recedes as fast on one side as it gains on the other. Next, the civilized man has built a coach but has lost the use of his feet. Next, an institution is the lengthened shadow of one man. बहुत important है. An institution is the lengthened shadow of one man. Next, discontent is the want of self-reliance. It is an infirmity as well. Next point, nothing can bring you peace. Nothing can bring you peace but yourself. Nothing can bring you peace but the trump of principles. How do you like this video? Please comment, like, share and subscribe. Thank you.